Are we going?
Yeah, we're going.
Where are we going?
Oh, Mexico.
Oh, I should have.
I'm sure I know I never been, but I sure wanna go. Okay.
Hey, Jonathan.
Hey, Jonathan. Okay. So over here, it is a kind of cloudy, like overcast, slow-going, colder than expected kind of day. So, like,
I don't think you would guess it based on. God, I'm like shining like.
why don't you put on the light?
Like my face has never seen the sun, because that's going to actually make it worse.
No, it'll make it warmer. Give it a shot.
It's going to just highlight how much sun I have never seen.
Hold on a sec. Okay, here you go. You're pressing it.
I'm pressing it. It's done nothing.
Yeah, it's
but
actually
made it worse.
No, I didn't make it worse.
It made it worse.
No.
Well, welcome to my shiny white aura of no sunness.
You're looking good. Anyway, big hello to Miles, who is escorting students in Tokyo.
Yes, brave person.
It is an absolutely marvelous city. And I have some recommendations while you're there. Number one, they won't be at every vending machine on every corner, but on many of them, you will find a peach drink called Nectar, and it is by far my favorite drink. I highly recommend that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Ragdoll, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that is really, really bad news, and our heart goes out to you and the other cats who I know will be missing Monsieur LaCroix's presence.
That's terrible.
That is. And also this is Jake's last live stream for a while.
Right.
And so, bonsoir. It's our last live stream for 2 weeks. We won't be live next week.
Yes.
We will be on the road. And
okay, and then I also have a recommendation, Miles. If and this is mainly if you get the chance to kind of go off on your own. This really isn't a place to take 30 people. It's pretty small. But there is a place in Tokyo called Mr. Danger, and it is, I mean, it's like small, like a hot dog shop, really. And they just got a grill, and they grill up meat. It is so good. It is so good. And they just grill up meat on these little, like, metal plates that they give you. And actually put a little square of butter on top. It's dynamite. One of the best meals I had in Tokyo.
well, Mateus just like wham does with
Oh,
LangTime Studio.
Oh,
but we have a good reason to not be streaming, because we are not only going to be on the road, which means hotel Wi-Fi, but in this case, we're going to be way out. We're going to be in the Arctic Circle area of Finland next Thursday. And so not even sure what kind of access we're going to have to anything.
And not only
I'm
that,
so excited.
2 p.m. Pacific time in Finland is midnight. So it'd be the midnight in between Thursday and Friday. You'll recall that we tried to stream pretty late in Budapest
and it
one
did
night.
Not work out so well.
No, it really didn't. Jesse was pretty tired, and also the Wi-Fi didn't work the best. And I don't want to guarantee that Wi-Fi way up north, way up north.
And this trip is for fun because we are going to be celebrating my birthday.
Woo! We are totally doing that. I totally remembered that.
You didn't forget because you planned the whole trip for my birthday.
That is indeed.
So,
it wasn't just a convenient excuse to get back to Finland.
And so, yes. So it's going to be for fun. We are going to be celebrating. It's going to be an awesome week. And also celebrating next week, Evan has a birthday next week, and Alk has a birthday. Not quite next week, but before we come back from our trip. So happy birthday to Alk, too. Yay! And also, Bibblerding, congratulations on finishing that video that I think took like 6 months out of your life. And so, congrats.
Oh, I think it's a video on Secret, it looks like. Looks like an underarm deodorant. That's cool.
Mateus, yes, we do have a Finnish viewer who hasn't been here in a little while, probably because, it's midnight their time when we start streaming, and so I don't think they can make it live very often just because it's so late. But Ilona, if you're watching, we are excited to be coming your way next week. And thank you, Carl. And Bubba, yeah, if I see the Northern Lights, I will not stop taking pictures. We're going a little bit late, though. Usually, Northern Lights are more of a February-ish end of lighting up the sky. So, if they happen to drop down and surprise us for a night, trust me, I will be, my phone may die from how many pictures I will take. But if they don't visit us, then so it goes. And David is now just watching Bibbleridian's newest video. We've lost him.
Not really. I'm just watching an advertisement at the moment. No, wait. I think
this is it.
No, this is it. It started.
Yeah, no, you started the little animation sliding across. Those were.
Yeah.
10 months. Oh,
no,
nice, Bibbleridian. Miles says as long as the Earth does magnet stuff, they'll show. I go magnets, light up the sky, especially the 2 nights we'll be way up north. Fingers crossed.
All right, so now we're taking a look.
He's on a chart of polypodia.
Sorry.
After such a long era of
Bibbleridian does not like it when you do that.
Looming on the horizon that will change the face of life.
I'm sorry,
on this
Bibbleridian.
forever.
I apologize.
To begin with, extinction is a natural and indeed essential component of
babe.
evolution.
There you go. There you go.
Everyone go watch Bibbleridian's video as soon as we're done streaming.
It's
especially for all our people who, it's going to be well past midnight by the time we're done streaming. Stay up all night, commit to it, watch the newest Bibbleridian video.
It's an hour and 17 minutes. It's pretty good. This is interesting. I've never seen this before. Apparently, some sort of auto tagging feature in your video, Bibbleridian, has triggered a context bubble that has the United Nations definition of climate change there. And if you press on it, it goes to the United Nations page on, what is climate change and so on. That's pretty cool. I don't know if I would have given them the go-ahead on this planet character they have.
They have some very interesting illustrations, and I would not have expected that for the United Nations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, it's catchy.
Yeah.
Okay, David.
Yes.
I think it's time we actually talk LangTime.
Oh no, we had one thing to do first.
KopiCon is LangTime, if that's what you want to talk about.
That is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I just wanted to throw this out there.
Do you want me to?
Little announcement. Yeah, go over there. So in addition to our slate of speakers, and our official overseer, Mr. Laridian, we are going to have some musical guests, and so go all the way to the bottom
Ooh.
And our musical guests are the husband and wife pair, Jillian and Andrew Aversa. And if you click on Jillian's stuff, you might not recognize her, but you'll probably know her if you play any kind of video games. She's done songs for Halo, Destiny, God of War, Civilization, Soul Calibur, Killer Instinct, Katamari Damacy, Assassin's Creed, Brawlhalla, Crimson Dragon, Honor of Kings, and more. She also has a YouTube channel, and so if you click on the link, you can go there. Let's see. Actually, hold on a sec. I'm pulling it up right now. She's done, and she's also done like fan-inspired music. So like I don't think she's done music for like The Legend of Zelda, but she's done like fan-inspired music for Legend of Zelda. Or using the Legend of Zelda theme, and also she's done songs in conlangs, and so I don't know exactly what they're doing, or I might not just be telling. Oh yeah, oh wow, look at that. She did a song. So she didn't do the song for World of Warcraft, I think, but she performed it in Video Game Live, which was a tour about that did video game music. Anyway, she's done music featuring conlangs, anyway, so they're gonna work together and they have a performance for us, so it's very exciting. I'm also going to mention they and
this
then
is
here's Andrew. By the way, Andrew's also a video game maker, and has done video game soundtracks, but like some of these are really old. Like he apparently did the soundtrack for Monkey Island 2. I don't know if you remember Monkey Island 1, but I think that came out in the 90s. I was like, ooh, that's pretty cool.
Well, Phineas and Ferb is the most important ones there.
Oh, right. So he's done a lot of video game soundtracks, and then he's also created his own video game, which is on the Switch right now, Tangled Deep. It looked interesting. Anyway, so they're going to be working together to perform. They also have they're bringing a violinist with them, but I don't have any of that person's biographical information. So
I actually didn't know there was a violinist coming. So.
They just asked because they thought it would be easier. So I should follow up on that. Anyway, so they will be performing during GopiCon.
Yay!
Yay!
Okay.
Wait, we're going to Finland on Sunday.
Yay!
There we go.
And jinx. Okay. So that is our GopiCon announcement. Hooray!
Yep. All right. And so now we are getting ready to do the poll.
The copula, copula results.
That's am I in the wrong? That's because that's I started in the wrong tab. This is the tab I should have been.
Oh, okay. Well,
but then the other tab is where all the chat is going to be, so I'll probably go back there after this. Anyway,
Miles, no. No to the automaton. Just no. It's a thing. If you don't know it,
I don't.
You don't need to know it. So, okay.
All right. So this.
Oh, Jonathan has an automaton. That's. Jonathan, you're starting it. Oh, go on.
I am really. Tom.
Yeah, I know, Miles. Didn't we have a discussion about it during the musical instruments?
That's right.
Yeah, and it's like, I swear some people can kind of play it so it doesn't sound horrible, but like it also is just like when you hear it, sometimes you just have to laugh.
And if it's Japanese, it has actually automatone, or is it?
I don't know. I just know that, like when it's rendered in.
No, it's not.
It's usually just said automaton.
Okay.
Jonathan, I'm not sure many people can play it to a degree that it doesn't just inspire giggles when you hear it. And
All right.
apparently Vanderpump Rules has a Vincent the Goat. Not our Vincent. Not a scarf wearing, clever little Vincent like ours.
What I'm asking you to do is dangerous.
Okay.
I'm sorry, hold on. It says video will play after ad.
But you could like stop the sound during the ad.
You know, one of the really cool things about LangTime Studio is that we don't do ads. High five to us.
He's listening to.
Wait. Just let it happen.
This is the automaton. This is actually very good.
I don't even know if you can see it.
God.
It's really amusing. Like, if you didn't know it was an actual instrument, you'd think this is just like a puppet cover and a human voice.
So,
all right.
Okay. Yes, we are now the LangTime Studio. Thank you. Anime fan, you have missed nothing. Miles, there is no shame in that. And in fact, I fell in love with that song because of the Shrek soundtrack. Not because necessarily I had the Shrek. I did not actually have the Shrek soundtrack, but I worked in a music store, and we played that soundtrack the summer it came out a lot because, a lot of people wanted it. And so I fell in love with that song because of the Shrek soundtrack. So no shame at all.
I was introduced by the Jeff Buckley cover, which I think is recognized as the best version of it. Sorry.
I know, and I shared which one was on the...
Rufus Wainwright.
There we go, thank you. I was like, I suddenly couldn't remember who was on the Shrek one. But anyway, yeah, so now that we are 17 minutes in, I think, and yeah, it really was in Shrek, by Rufus Wainwright, not the Jeff Buckley version. There are a lot of different versions, and there's actually 2 different arrangements of the lyrics of the song, because there's like another one that sometimes when you look it up, I think it's the Leonard Cohen one is slightly different.
Well, he wrote the song.
Right,
but he also, he would change the lyrics periodically.
Okay, so like sometimes you'll see slightly different, but like it's overall the same song. But it's beautiful. Well, I would say every version I've heard of it that has been professionally released has been beautiful, but this one I am doubtful about.
It was wonderful, and just the video and it was high quality.
All right,
puppet showing.
All right, babe, I'll get you an automaton for the instrument wall.
There we go.
I'll do that for you. Okay, so here we go.
I don't think so, buddy.
Someone's staring at our door.
There's Grubhub over there, and they don't know what's going on. He might be knocking on our door, in which case I might need to direct him. The numbers on our side are the same as the numbers the street back, but it's all complex.
It is complex and complicated. And so David's going to talk about the results for the votes on the copula. And we're going to find out how we're going to be using, not the copula itself, rather, but like the negation strategies, which may use the copula. So let's hear some results.
Yeah.
Or actually, let's listen. You go ahead and describe the options first.
Yeah.
Then we'll listen to results.
Also something I want everybody to kind of keep in the back of their mind is one of the things that we were trying to do with the romanization here is make everything standard across all the languages. And the reason being that, they're all going to be a part of the same game, and, you'd love for people to be able to read names all the same way and not have to figure out something from one to the next. Well, what I realized at the very end of last week's stream is that we use the apostrophe for adjectives in Wakatiju, which is, perfectly fine and standard. We use the apostrophe here for pharyngalization, which is also pretty standard, but now, in dog names, essentially the apostrophe is going to mean pharyngalization. In the mouse language, it's going to mean adjectives. And so I was wondering if anybody had any ideas about that changing, and probably this one. I don't have any good ideas at all.
David is idealist.
If your idea involves stacking diacritics, you can go ahead and take that idea and put it into a box, tie a ribbon around it, bury that box in the front yard, and then set the ground around it on fire. Anyway.
But not the box.
No. The box will be left to suffer.
Jake, no one.
No one.
David?
Yeah.
Maybe? Oh, he is back.
Oh, brother.
I think he's on the phone, though, with the person who ordered the food.
That's fine. I hope that I can't hear what he's saying. Probably not. We'll just try to talk over him.
Between him and the fact that there's a leaf blower. Right outside our door is fun times. Good time to be streaming.
It's nothing. Oh, hey Kay. It's nothing like the leaf blower when Bibleridian popped in. That
was awful.
That was top.
That was awful.
That was top leaf blower.
Jake, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that David's going to oust you from the chat window for suggesting capital letters. Something he has talked about his not so fondness for in the Klingon not orthography, rather. Sorry, but the romanization. Wrong word. Yeah. And Kay, much love to you, and congratulations for your first month of business in your Etsy shop and Pretty Odd Arts and Crafts. All the wonderful soaps and other commissions and paintings that you've been selling. It's very exciting.
A hyphen would certainly be unique. I don't think it would convey it. Get out of there.
Bubba, you're also going to be kicked out. You, Jake, we're going to lose everybody as these suggestions come in.
Yeah. In Arabic, or at least in certain versions of Arabic transcription, a small little c, not unlike the little c used for names with Mick in them, like McAdams, the little c that's raised. That is what's used for pharyngalization in Arabic, and that it's quite good. I like it, but you just can't type that. Arabic, modern Arabic, uses the letter 3.
Must be typing it.
The number 3. The reason that Arabic, if for texting, uses the number 3, first of all, it's available on ASCII. Ooh, you hear that? George Corley is editing a Conlangery episode with me and Jesse.
Yay!
So somebody might have to look out for that. But the reason that Arabic uses the number 3 is because it resembles in some fashion the standalone form of the character for the pharyngeal approximant, which Jesse will show you after these messages.
Messages from our official sponsor. I found it, Kay. For whatever reason, I couldn't get it in. Pretty Odd Art and Craft. This is Kay's shop. And all these are soaps. They are, not now. Got all these soaps here, and then we have 3 original Kay paintings in our house. which you can
So
see
good.
there are some amazing paints. Also makes soap dishes, wind chimes. I mean, just so much good stuff. And I want to get this gingerbread coffee bar soap.
I don't. I would just eat it.
I'm a little worried that David
Look
would
at
eat
it.
it though.
It looks
Um,
great.
but yeah, so this is Kay's shop, and I will totally plug that in Discord as well. So
Woo!
there it is.
All right.
I know, right? You can make a whole basket out of these. It's amazing, and these are not actually Fruit Loops, just little soaps made to look like Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
love it.
I want you to go to Wikipedia the next opportunity you get.
Yes.
Um,
Our message from our sponsors is over, but everyone check it out.
and then I don't know. Pull up Arabic writing system maybe. Arabic alphabet is what they had.
Arabic alphabet.
Yeah, that's what they had. Even though it's an
How do you
abjad.
feel about that, David?
Even though it's an abjad, I don't like it.
There's also Arabic script.
Yeah, look at Arabic abjad. It's just English being bizarre. So scroll down a little bit to where they show the characters. And these are very, very small, unfortunately. Can you just do this one? Okay, so this is the character. Well, I don't see you pointing
Is
at
it
the
the-
70. If you can, highlight the 70
Just that one?
or whatever. Yeah,
Or the one underneath
no, that's
it?
fine. So the that is a character for Ein, and it stands for a pharyngeal approximant, and you can see that it kind of looks like a 3 but backwards. And so that is why 3 is used for that character when just like texting in Arabic but not using the Arabic script and just like using ASCII. They use a 3 for that one, and I think they use a 5 for Hamza.
Is it this one?
No, that one.
This one.
But
The 2000.
and so
I
it's
can't
like-
highlight that one. Okay.
and so it's like, you know, that's something that we could do. X is a possibility, yeah. It's just not very.
We get like BX.
Bubba said double
RAD.
quotes. Something that is within the realm of possibility but is difficult is that we could use the okina. That is the apostrophe that's used for a glottal stop in Hawaiian has a very specific orientation if written properly. It is actually supposed to face, like, you know, the way that
It actually faces the other.
like the traditional like smart apostrophe. If you write "it's" in English, it's backwards and upside down. So the fat part is on the bottom. The open part faces the right edge of the paper. We could do that. However, that might get wrecked by you know, word processors, and like by the time, you know, like if the game ever gets printed, they might not even recognize that. It might just end up as an apostrophe.
And so here's it's sort of, because if you remember, ours is going to always face the other way. So it essentially kind of be
Yeah.
like reversed and like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's a whole little infographic.
Yeah.
Huh. And so, yeah, it's
Now,
backwards from ours.
the use of the okina itself is something that I wouldn't have sanctioned if I were in charge. It seems needlessly and pointlessly like complicated. You could just use an apostrophe. It's not like it's going to, you know, be conflated with anything else. But since it already exists.
Jake is bringing the snark.
Oh yeah, but I mean, my thoughts are like, do nothing, do quotes, or use an X.
Well, let's see how we feel when we start typing up some words.
Yeah. All right. So anyway,
Let's first talk about negation.
the poll. So we have an equative and negative copula. So those are going to be, but we didn't have a way to negate standard verbs, and so we decided to throw out some suggestions we came up with for. One of them was to use the negative equative copula. So the logic of this would be, the dog, I guess, is not of the sniffing of a mastiff. I guess that would be how that worked.
It is, but it's also like, because this comes from to shake, it's like the dog
Shakes
the sniffing of a mastiff.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
Yes.
it's like not happening.
I'm sorry. That was
Yeah.
where I was missing it crucially.
You're welcome.
Shakes. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So there was that one. I'll just tell you right off the bat that wasn't a horse in this race.
Man, I liked that one, but okay.
So then there's the negative locative copula, using that instead. The negative locative copula comes from flee. So it's like the dog flees the sniffing of the mastiff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and so now the bottom two, the other was to use both, and to so that the flee would be emphatic negation, and the two would be regular negation. And then finally, it was to come up with an entirely new strategy and use a fronted negative particle that we could devise. In fact, the fronted negative particle was second to last. It did get a couple of votes. Wasn't as unpopular as just A. And so this was really a two-horse race between only using the locative copula or using both, with this distinction.
I feel like both probably won.
Yeah.
Just knowing our patrons.
You're absolutely right. C was the big winner. It wasn't really close. The only thing that baffled me was everybody clearly liked both, but there were some people that were like, nah, only locative. Nobody was for just the equative. I don't know. I think maybe fleeing made more sense to them. But then we're still doing it. We're absolutely still doing it. Can you go up to A really quick? Now I'm trying to figure out why we're using the genitive with that.
Because it's fleeing the sniffing of a mastiff.
And then this is shaking at the...
And this is fleeing...
The A.
Oh,
shaking at the sniffing of... Okay, right. Yeah. That's why it is. So that's why we use the genitive there. And we use O for the other one. Okay, so there we have it. That is how our negation is going to work for standard clauses. And now that, I think that pretty much finishes it up for us. So now we have our full negation strategy. That feels pretty darn good.
I think we should type that up and then celebrate.
All right. Then I will get to that, since I actually don't have the document open. I'm super prepared.
And here were our options.
Yeah.
And so equative did really win, because equative is our standard negation. It's just everyone liked the ability to be emphatic.
Yeah. Nobody who liked equative didn't like also having the emphatic, I guess is the
way to say it.
Yeah. And then there were some people that loved the locative so much
that's all they wanted. Nice.
That makes sense, Magpie.
Yeah, that does make sense. I honestly like creating an entirely different strategy. I do like the reinforcing nature of having different, positive and negative copular constructions. So it's like we'll reinforce that, which is definitely cool. But
okay, and somehow this is how I think we're going to save this joke. We need to revisit. Is Logan here? I haven't seen Logan mention or say anything, so I don't know if Logan's here. We need to revisit Logan's email on color to see if maybe we can have a homonym between bal, which is to flee, and a word for purple to give us purple negation.
Oh my gosh. Fleeing purple.
Okay.
I also realized I'm going to do something real quick. Copy that. And then, David, as you work on that, all good, but I will at some point steal your computer.
Yes.
Because I realized I forgot.
Let's do this. How features 2 different negation strategies for standard matrix verbs for the negation of copular constructions. See above. How uses the negative equative copula for standard negation, and uses the negative locative copula for so-called purple negation or emphatic negation. Examples are shown below.
I'm going to steal your computer real quick. You talk. You be entertaining.
I would love to see Biblaridian, like not even in a video, but more in like a Q&A where we list some of the key biological decisions we've made for LangTime Studio. And he, tells us in as polite a fashion as he can why we were wrong to do so and why what we did makes absolutely no sense. I think that would be good watching right there. Sounds like a helicopter above. Hey, the sun has finally come out. That's nice.
How do you make it? Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
It's like it's in there. Oh my gosh. Apparently not yet, though.
Did you put it in a specific place? I think I know what you're doing.
Yeah, I put it in here. And it should be right there. All right. But this is all showing like it's still thinking. And this is like showing that there's still...
Put it somewhere else, too.
All right.
Here, wait. Do you know what type of a file it is?
It should be, I think, PNG, but now I will have to double check. This is all, we're trying to... This is sorry. People on Discord will know what we're trying to do, I'm sure. I'm just a little frustrated that it's not working out.
Sounds like little Jesse's frustrated too.
It's a PNG.
It is.
Yeah.
And it starts with S.
With T.
With T. Yeah, this is...
Can I just... Well, if I airdrop it to you, I guess you could...
Yeah, you can do that. I'm gonna use the very popular Mac feature AirDrop. So popular, so useful. You can also just text it to me.
Oh, well, there you go. Your notifications are on silent. But it's really frustrating because it's just not, like, updating on the computer. I added a file, and so it's not updating. And to get our super fun bullet points. Ah. Anyway. Is it? Oh, no, you got it there now.
Yeah, I just got it there now.
There we go. Okay, so now once you unclick on the list, there we go. Got it. We now have our bullet points. Woo! Okay.
All right. So does everybody know who that is?
Turquoise Dupont.
Dupree.
I know, but it's Dupont for like DuPont. Bullet point.
Everybody
Come
needs
on.
to see him big.
Oh.
Scroll up.
Oh my god.
There he is.
Okay.
Turquoise Dupree. All right. There he goes. Okay, now I'll delete him. But that is those are these bullet points right there.
So now we've got those. Woo! Finally, that took way too long. Sorry. That was a major sidetrack just to get the whole like bullet point thing on there. But
can you pull up
excuse me.
I mean, I can look at it, but go ahead and pull up our Patreon again. I want to see how the syntax of this thing works. So I, both of them, it's I.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, there we go. Now we can go back.
All right.
Yeah, so this is going to need a little bit of explanation. Let's see. It is crucial to note that the preposition associated with the verb will change.
As David is typing this, magpie, turquoise can be anything turquoise wants to be. This is just the detective sleuthing image I drew, and I tend to, anytime dogs are in question, I tend to use the pronoun he to refer to dogs in the same way that I tend to refer to all cats as she. It's just sort of a pick and choose, but yes, turquoise could be a fascinatingly charming woman detective as well.
What was
whatever
that?
turquoise wants to be.
What was that show where they were making fun of it? Oh, it was Community. They were making fun of Troy. Troy believes that all dogs are boys and all cats are girls.
How they get more, we'll never know.
All right. Okay. Anyway, so an important note, like anybody who looked at the poll on Patreon would know this, but notice that the marking is changed here. So the dog sniffs the mastiff, right? Bram is a subject, and then ojo is the object, and you'll see that there's the v in front of it. So fuf Bram vojo is the dog sniffs the mastiff. When the dog doesn't sniff the mastiff, notice that the marking changes. So tu Bram ai vaf ai ojo. It changes to genitive. And that's kind of across the board if there's an object. So whatever object marking it has, it's like, well, that's only for direct object marking, I guess. For locative stuff, it would just stay whatever locative it is. But it's now tu Bram ai vaf ai ojo. A lot of ofs going on. Hola, ¿qué tal? And then, yeah, same for bal. It doesn't change there. But also, you see that tu is associated with the genitive that goes in front of the verb. Bal is associated with the ablative or the lative, whatever. And so, bal bram o buff. It's buff, buff, right? It's the what do you call it?
The schwa.
That's the schwa. The direct object. Okay. Actually, let's just change this. We should note the unique syntax of negation. First, the subject follows the negative, equative, or locative copula. This is followed by a prepositional phrase headed by the genitive a.
Loving all the typos.
And standard.
And I'm like thinking of ways we can turn those into words.
Standard genitive a and standard negation. And
far fewer typos than I would have at this moment, by the way.
And a lot of
David's doing great.
In emphatic. Hang on. Purple negation.
And I'm going to teach my version of Pages the word lative. Burn. There we go.
It's a little rarer.
Yes, but
yeah, you're right.
I don't want to stare at a grammatical term.
In fact, purple negation. This main verb, in effect and in actuality, has been nominalized. Its previous direct object argument will no longer take the. Actually, the usual version of that as well. Instead, it will, the head of the prepositional phrase will be the genitive a. And then this obviously would be the essive. Okay, that is a good explanation. I'm happy with that.
We should celebrate.
I'll allow it. All right.
We're going to celebrate.
We're going to celebrate for
Ooh.
having done something.
It's completely cleared up outside. I just now realized that.
Oh.
That's how awake I am.
It's wild. It's actually what it's like in the Bay Area in summer, except that it never actually gets warm. And even at its sunniest, it's never this sunny. It basically, it will start to finally really clear up at sunset. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
There we go. And
all right.
Celebrating.
Copico, when the best thing to come out of LangTime Studio in the past few months is something that you weren't paying attention to when it was created. Referring, of course, to Turcois Dupree. Because, like, you were telling me this and, like, you were drawing this dog. I'm like, what is this? Sorry, Jonathan.
David, that was rude.
It was. I'm getting rid of them. I'm getting rid of them.
Yeah, you were so not paying attention at that moment.
No, I was not. I don't even know what I was doing.
Talking to John.
Oh. Well, that's the reason.
I know. And I told you that last week when
I guess I wasn't paying attention when you told me that.
David with the remembering our conversations.
Hey, it's kind of a little weird, but I was looking at participles and I was thinking, why don't we do that?
Sure. I just realized something though. I think we should embrace the double use of the apostrophe because, well, I mean, I like the Okina idea too, simply because, like, it would render it as something weird looking-ish, and pharyngalization to me is, like, something different.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm totally on board with figuring that out if you want to do that. But I'm also on board with double using the apostrophes because I just realized ingala, the acute accent means turn it into an ash because that's where the stress is. And in wokuthishu, it means tone.
Oh.
And so we've embraced it already, the double use of a marking to mean something different. And I get that, like, okay, high tone does something, but it's not a stress marking. It's not a vowel change quality. It is literally a very important tone marker. And in Ingala, it's a stress marker, and it says produce this like an ash.
Well, yeah, but it's not just for that vowel. It's for any vowel.
Sure, but it's a stress marker.
Yeah, it's yeah, no, you're right. It's used to mark non-canonical stress because it makes sense to do so in that language. It doesn't make sense to do so in Tapahla. There's of course tone in wokuthishu for stresses invariant in sarkeje, and then for this it's really obvious. Everything is either one syllable or two, and if it's two syllables, you know that the stress is going to be on the first syllable. So yeah, all right, you have come to me with precedents, to ground your argument, and unlike some bodies here in the United States, I take precedents seriously. Thank you. So the apostrophe it shall be.
Excellent. And Caleb shared Kopiko at both their workplaces, and everyone loves them. Of course they do, because it's Kopiko.
Mm-hmm. Mm. It's such good stuff. Mm.
Indeed.
I know I've said this before, but when I fell in love with coffee flavor, when I first had coffee flavor ice cream at my ex-step-grandmother's apartment, and I couldn't even imagine it. I tasted coffee before that as a young child. I told you about that. Mm-hmm. My face resembled, like, you've seen what my face looked like. It was awful. It was just straight black coffee. It wasn't hot, but I was 3 or 4. I asked my former stepdad, I was like, can I have a drink? He's like, well, sure. I tasted it. Oh, boy. That was a dark day. But then but then that ice cream, I was like, you have ice cream that's coffee? And it was the only kind. I was like, well, I'm not going to not get ice cream. Mm-hmm. And I tasted it, and it was like the essence and flavor and spirit of coffee. But all of the awfulness was removed. It wasn't hot. It wasn't bitter. It was just beautiful. And Kopiko is a bit like that.
And for our patrons who saw the...
Tis gluten-free.
Was it a patron stream or a podcast where you tried my coffee? David actually tried a drink of my coffee, which I take black, which is not how David takes his coffee. And so you will know what David's face looks like on coffee. Homemade coffee ice cream you can make with whipped cream and condensed milk.
Oh, sure. Erin makes ice cream all the time, and she uses condensed milk. The brand we have here is La Lechera, but it's good. Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't drink hot beverages.
So I don't know that anyone has turned David's coffee face into an emote, but we do have your kombucha face.
Kombucha face.
And wasn't there a ginger face too? Kind of like that one.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of Discord emojis that are David's face on reacting to certain things. We've also got my Leslie Nope face. Mm-hmm. And I forget what other face it was, but there was Jonathan pulled it for us. Jonathan is great at pulling faces for us. And then, yes. Jinjin. Okay, there we go.
That's right. Jake has had Erin's ice cream. So she had cinnamon ice cream at the time. But let me tell you, she's made coffee and it's outstanding. Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Okay. Now I really just want ice cream, so let's talk about participles. instead, because otherwise I'm about to go get the ice cream we have in our freezer
Yeah.
and turn this into an ice cream eating stream.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the cinnamon ice cream, it goes great with snickerdoodles. All right, so I have something to suggest. It's a little bit off the wall, but I want to throw it out there. Mateus, you've been uninvited to KopiCon.
No. We need to invite more like Mateus, so all the ice cream goes to us. And Mateus will be like, pass. And it'll be like, fine.
Goodness gracious.
Don't worry, Mateus. I embrace you.
I do not. Goodbye, Bubba. Stay grammar. So here's the kind of radical idea I have. And this is not...
Now that Bubba's going to dinner,
Yeah.
let's do all the radical things, so when Bubba comes back, it's like, what?
That's right. So this is not inspired by Tibetan. It was actually inspired by this negation strategy. But I almost feel that in a way it's sanctioned by Tibetan. So here's my idea. For a participle, we use the genitive with a verb. So noun, genitive, verb. And it is a verbal participle that is either active or passive. It's completely, basically there's no way to tell between the two.
That's fun.
So a dog of sniffing would be a dog that sniffs something, or a dog that is sniffed.
Interesting. I want to think through that for just 1 second.
Okay.
Well, I asked Jake, were you the one that pulled the Jin face? If so, good job. Secondly, somebody said, where was it? Like my face is, I am not. Yes, we're going to, there we go, Magpie. Yes, we're going to bring back the eufilers just so we can kill them again, but kill them in a new way. And so that way everything will just shift. Okay. We can also kill the pharyngeals while we're at it, so that way we don't have to worry about the apostrophe.
I mean, we could.
Done. Okay. So, right, Miles, like my head is in a space where I'm like, I feel like David's suggestion embraces the spirit of this language, but like me personally, I'm like, oh my God, I want to distinguish them, but I also feel like that's kind of perfect for this particular language. I would not do it in every language.
Yeah,
but this one feels right. But I'm also trying to think like where that might lead to such ambiguity that speakers feel the need to clarify what they mean and how they would do that. That is so, I don't know. It's like, so that's where my brain is going. It started spinning in circles to the point where it's like, I couldn't think of anything to share, which is why I instead went to, Jake's was the 10 people in Minnesota face. Nice. I think it was 10 people in Missouri actually, because that's where I'm from, but I knew what you meant and I won't be too snarky about you thinking I'm from Minnesota. Oh, Tethys already called you out. Nice. Right, Jonathan? Just adding insult to injury. I love you too, Jake. And so, at least you knew it was an MI state, one of the MIs. Okay, so David looked up something on Lexergy.
I just couldn't remember our sound changes. I remember them now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, relative clauses could help. Also, again, context is usually going to make it clear. Because, like, if you're looking at a dog sniffing flowers and you're like, oh, the sniffing dog is my friend, like, you're going to know it's the sniffing dog, not the sniff dog, because you're seeing it in action. I feel like I mean, obviously, if one dog's sniffing another dog, then it's like, I don't know which one you're talking about. Oh, God, the meal. Thank you. You even saw it, but I, like, still had a little,
Mhm.
okay. So, like, it could cause some problems, but you're absolutely right. Like, if it's going to cause a problem and you see it and you're like, oh, I'm going to need to clarify, you would, like, use a long clause. Like, oh, you see this dog doing this, that's my friend.
Yeah, and I'm actually worried less about that ambiguity than I am about other ambiguities. So, if we were ever to use a verb as a zero-derived noun, suddenly it could mean an Xing dog, an Xed dog, or it could mean whatever noun that is. That's dog. Possessive.
I just saw Tethys's joke. Minnesota is just an Iowa away from Missouri, which is great because Iowa plays with the iota connotation. It's just a little bit away, and
Oh.
Iowa's a tiny little whoop away, you know. Oh, I love it. Anyway, yeah.
So, and then there's also the fact that we have the, in standard negation, we have the genitive there. But I think all that does is tell us that we need to be sure that we come up with a regular strategy for agentive derivation. So that verbs by themselves are more often than not treated as verbs. That's all.
Mm.
Yeah. But yeah, for the intended ambiguity though, I think it's all right. I think it's all right. And yeah, whenever we figure out how to do relative clauses, that's always something that we can do, absolutely. And so
yeah,
it also adds a little pressure to the relative clauses to make sure that we can disambiguate if we have to.
Yeah, I like it.
All right.
And Jake, I am 98% confident that Minnie is from Minnesota. And I took away 2% of my confidence because I kept thinking Miles was from a different state than they're from. It's now straight. I know where you are now, Miles. So like I got you placed on the map now. But that shook my confidence. And so yeah, I'm now 2% less confident that Minnie is from Minnesota. But I'm still up there on confidence.
Just occurred to me something we could do at Kobe Gunness. We could buy a bunch of cupcakes and have a cupcake parade.
Oh my God, we could have a cupcake parade. And then one of our break times could be used to make applesauce. So we'd also have the applesauce project to represent both.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Logan, I had a question for you since you're here. I don't think you were here when we asked about it. But we had an idea to try to save this, this off-the-wall joke about purple negation. That the word for emphatic that we use for emphatic negation, which is flee, which is ball, it could be a homophone with the word for purple. Is that something that makes sense? Are dogs eventually going to have a word for purple? Because I really need, I think, a lot more study of your email, because it's like you read the first part of the email and it's like, actually dog color vision isn't too much different from humans. And then you keep reading and it's like, oh. And then by the end of it, I just had no idea what was going on. And then there was apparently the formatting issue when it came to the evolution of the color terms. It got messed up. It looked like it was all in 2 lines, and so I couldn't understand that. Anyway, help us out there. Can we save the purple negation joke?
And Logan, I know you're in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least you may not be right now, but that's where you normally are. There we go.
Just crunch it for a second.
Purple is a combination of red and blue is not something dogs could perceive. Okay. Oh, as a combination of red and blue is not something dogs could perceive. It's identical
to gray.
I read that a little bit wrong the first time I read it.
I do remember that from your email, that certain types of distinctions would all get leveled as gray.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of them. Wow. Well, it would be purple. You know where it would be purple is in, Turquoise Dupree in the case of The Missing Bone, which of course would be a film noir movie that would be in black and white.
Uh-huh.
And so then here comes Turquoise, and it's like, there she stood. She was wearing a purple dress.
But it was all...
I knew because it was gray. Hang on.
From Illinois. I did not say that's where you were from. I said that's where you are in Utah, so I was right about that. Indigo violet is perceivable, and...
Thank you. Like, what do you think purple is?
And
it's like, oh no, they can't see purple. It would all be gray. They can perceive violet, though. Come on!
And I think magpie is great. That, can't see purple. It's negated. And so, Logan, I may or may not remember that you are originally from Illinois in the future, but being a state that borders on mine, I feel like I'm more likely, but I may forget which state. And there are 8 states that border Missouri. It has the most border states out of all the states.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So they're different, John, and that like all colors are different, right? So like here, like give me your water bottle there. Both these things are pink, right?
We have so many pink things.
There are so many pink things here. Like, yes, these colors are all different, but you can call them all pink. Listen, violet and purple are different, but you can call violet purple. It's not that different.
The lightest pink, too.
Yeah.
In case you don't know, pink is my favorite color, and so I tend to collect a lot of pink things. And indeed, as I look around my desk, we have many things we could hold up. Yes.
All right. Violet is indeed in the rainbow. And if you can look at that thing and tell the difference, then there you go.
Yes. And I know that indigo and violet are part of Roy G. Biv, and so, like, I get it. But, whenever I color a rainbow, I color it purple.
Is what R. Knight Petrichor is saying, is that correct?
But red violets would be gray.
In other words, kind of like the more red you add to a violet, the more gray it becomes.
Right. I'm just gonna do a little test here. That's lavender. Great. They don't have anything called violet. Darn.
Okay, so...
I was gonna see if I could find a violet in there.
And Logan is saying that's correct. Violet is close enough to purple that I'm happy to call it purple, though.
Isn't Jake from Sussex?
No,
or is it Wessex?
I think Jake's from Scotland or something. I don't know. Yeah, they don't really talk about it a lot, so it's nothing that I'm going to remember.
Oh, it's Essex. See, Sussex, Wessex, Essex. There's too many of them. Mm-hmm. I knew it was one of the 3. Well, sure, they are technically, although I was sad I didn't have a little thing here, but for our intents and purposes, we would see violet, and in general, we're going to just call it purple, because that's what it renders to our terminology.
But, anime fan, yes, they're 2 different colors, but they're also not 2 different colors. It just depends on your level of categorization. It's like, if you're going to look at this entire room and say everything is one of 11 colors, right? You'll be able to do that. You'll be able to find everything and say it is this, it is this, it is this. But that doesn't mean that they're the same color. Like this, you can't see this chair. This chair is red. The top of the Kopiko jar is red, but they're 2 different colors.
They're kind of wildly different. Also, I ordered this for David.
Yeah.
And it's orange. It's bright orange. And so that's why I got it for him, because orange is his favorite color. And yet it sure looks like, like in isolation, it actually almost looks pink.
Yeah.
But like when you see it with mine, you can tell, oh no, it's much more orange.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be hard to categorize as one color or another just by looking at it because it's such an interesting hue of color. But the same thing would go for like, okay, so our version of what counts as purple would overlap with some of what the dogs would also see, the indigo violet.
Yep.
It's just
But
that
some would also.
it's just that some of it would also render gray to them,
Yeah.
and so we would, we would still call something purple where the dogs would be like, no, this is where I stop, and this is now part of whatever color we're going to call gray.
Yeah.
And so it's like totally fine. That happens. You still got to pull the chair back more. It's leaning against the blinds, which means they won't close later on. Yeah, they got to be free and footloose and fancy free.
Sorry. Okay. Okay.
Do it. I can't scoot over anymore, so I hope you're in. Okay. So.
All right. So how often doesn't have unique participle forms for verbs? Instead, a verb can be nominalized via a genitival construction to produce a participle-like construction. These particles. Oh,
particles. Ooh.
And then I wrote particles. Oh my.
That's the most fascinating little brain smasheroo I have seen all day, and I love it.
This is what I intended to say. This is what I wrote, and this is what I said. There you go.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Anyway, so these participles are neither active nor passive. The distinction is not made, and the interpretation is left up to context. A few examples are shown below. Actually, I'm going to change this. Would you like to see some examples? To acquire, to prove it's on the case.
Yes. That's amazing.
Also.
And Jake, you may feel like we're even, but no, we're even. I will probably forget by tomorrow, and you'll ask where you're from, and I'll be like, I'll still list Sussex, Wessex, and Essex, and I'll be like, one of those. Pretty sure now it's Essex though, and I will try to remember that moving forward. And we'll see.
It said just like that too, Essex.
I literally don't know how I'm supposed to say it. Essex?
No, I think it's Essex. There we go.
Anyway, David's going to be able to come up with a word for doghouse for the next stream that we have, because that's where he will be.
Or the sniffed dog. Can we get an intransitive verb like sleep?
Oh, do we have one? Is that what you're asking? I got sidetracked by Jonathan's comment about their dad describing a Northern English accent as Australian. And gotta say, sometimes there are some Australian accents I hear and I'm like, oh, it's kind of British. And then I'm like, oh, I guess it wasn't. I'm really bad at identifying accents. Okay. Well, we have lie, which is to lie down. So like all of those would be
We have
intransitive. We have run.
mea.
We have what mea, which yeah, the curling happy sleep lie.
Was that used for anything?
No, we just wanted three different words, and so we needed to actually create it.
Yeah.
I don't think we used the side lie for anything either. Again, those I feel like we just created to like um, to do.
Here, hold on a sec.
I think it just comes out as mea. Like I don't think it actually changes.
Mea with a schwa.
Okay,
But,
so it would
yeah, pretty much.
mea is the modern form.
Oh.
There we go.
Also, these aren't I, they're ah.
Yeah, they're only I in front of a certain thing, right?
In front of vowels.
Oh God, David, you've just ruined everything.
I don't know. I'm sorry about that. This is the sleeping dog. And I don't think that M changes, right, in front of... we need to write these up because we keep doing this. I have a great table for this that I used for Nolith. So I'll copy that. And then, I don't know, do we want to do just another transitive verb so we can just see another alternation?
Oh, another transitive?
Yeah.
We have chase.
Yeah, that's...
so, hua.
Oh, but we haven't necessarily made a modern form of that, right?
Well, we need to just plug it into Lexergy to make sure we know what it is. We have to pull, so it could be the pulled dog or the pulling dog.
Yeah, let's do that. Mem is simple. Well, oh no, but it also starts with M, and we already have Mea. How about play? Oh, but that's not transitive.
Well, I guess it kind of depends. You can play a game, but no, you wouldn't have the play dog. Not really.
All right, let's do hua.
And I'll just plug that into Lexergy and see what we get. Oh, I got to move this
think
over
it's the
so I
same
can plug it in.
As Mea. It's just gonna come out with a schwa at the end.
Yeah. And we were, all of our H's were like that, right? So we're just writing H for that. Is that correct?
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Joie.
Oops. I accidentally put a link on that. Okay. That is I. This is not in our writing system. It's that. There we go. Oops, wrong one.
And something in Lexergy is making a very interesting suggestion. Where are our prepositions?
Right here.
So we have that as before a consonant and that before a vowel. Graham did something interesting. So if you put this preposition before a consonant and that consonant doesn't change, it retains the I. So it's ajua for hua, which is chase. The I hua becomes ajua. So
it palatalizes it.
It does. It palatalizes it. For Mea, it doesn't change, but he retains the I. So it comes out as I Mea as opposed to Amea. How do we feel about that? Kind of want to
I think I do too. Because this is essentially going to be produced as I, right? Or is it yeah?
No, it's going to be produced as I.
And it's also going to make it so it differentiates, and having repeated is better than I repeated, I think.
Also, Graham, if you happen to be watching this, since we don't have another L, I'd love to throw L into the deromanizer or whatever, so that you could just type a regular L rather than having to do the fancy L. Also, F for the bilabial fricative, and F and V for the bilabial fricatives. A little quality of life. Okay, so we do have I, life. Because another possibility is we could add another sound change and make I go to A, but I can see doing that with I rather than ow, because we don't have the vowel I anywhere else in the language.
Oh, the eval?
Yeah, so orthographic I sound E.
That never shows up on its own?
No.
Interesting. That does seem weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
I want you to puzzle this out. I trust you. I'll be right back.
Okay, I think I may end up coming up with a poll. I'll
pitch. A poll for them, or is this going to be?
I'll pitch my idea. Oh.
People support it.
Okay. I am the captain now. Okay. So, first of all, I want to make sure that it is correct that the eval never occurs anywhere else, and I don't think it does. I think it only occurs in this diphthong. Whereas, like, ow does occur elsewhere. And so, if we did this, the genitive could actually have 3 realizations. Oh gosh, no. It would occur in a very narrow circumstance. For a moment I was thinking the genitive would have 3 realizations, but it won't. It would only have 2. Because we have this, right? And presumably it would go to before consonants that change. Go to A before consonants that don't change. And then before vowels, it's either going to become I the way it currently does, because we don't have a ya, right? So it either does that, or it doesn't need to be that far. Or it becomes A, or does something even wilder and becomes something like, darn it, it becomes this. I'm gonna make this black. If we had the change across the board, it would make no sense for this to be the result. So something that we could do, I think I have the poll. I think I have the poll that I want to do. So I'm going to write it up here. And it's kind of independent of this, so don't worry about that. So option 1, do nothing. Stays as is. Option 2, I goes to A, and by the way, whether it's going to be that or that, we'll decide later. Across the board. Option 3, I goes to A, before consonants. And so then we could have a 3-way distinction, that one, that one, that one. Anyway, those are the options I'm going to write up, and I'm going to find wherever YouTube is. Where did I put it? Oh, it was over here, wasn't it? Well, not there. Over here. Okay, start a poll. Nothing. 2. All right, poll is up. And now I hereby summon Biblaridian. Do you just put their name, or do you have to put like an @ on it? Or like a plus? I don't remember. I don't remember how YouTube works.
No one does. What are you trying to do?
I was doing a poll.
Okay. Let's scooch.
Oh.
Okay. Oh. So I hit every part of my desk on the way in.
Mm-hmm.
We're good. Okay. Now, what has this poll been running the whole time? How many votes do we have?
Not the whole time, but it's probably.
It feels like we could call a winner based on.
Yeah.
Based on how many?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so we're changing this. Okay, Graham, be ready.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. My God. I support that so much.
Oh my goodness. I love it. But is that how it works? Do you just put somebody's name in there and then it does it? Or like, do you have to put an @ or a plus symbol?
No, remember we talked about this? And how
Okay.
miles is like, anytime somebody types miles, even if it's like, it's 10 miles to the store, he gets, or they get tagged. And so, yeah. Oh, Anime Fan chose randomly. Was this not the result you wanted?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I was just trying to figure out why there was an apology.
For me?
Yeah, there was an apology.
Because Anime Fan chose randomly.
Where? Oh my God, you're at the beginning of the stream. I was like, why isn't our screen showing right?
Yeah, you're right.
I was a little bit concerned that this whole time nobody's seen anything but the CopyCon website, but David was at the beginning of the stream on his viewing.
Well, but here's the thing, Tethys. If it's just every time you type somebody's name, then I suppose, yes, technically you can add somebody. You can also use a plus. You can use whatever you want as long as their name
Yeah, as long
appears
as
there.
their name is there. But yeah, that was one thing that Miles was saying they had a problem with because their name pops up in other contexts where a name is not intended.
Yeah.
And so, anyway.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think Bib will tag Bibleridian,
No.
since that is of course, our LangTime affectionate name.
But also, like YouTube, you can't do nicknames. You can, however, address somebody by last name. So if I were to say, well played, Mr. Luridian, that of course will tag him because, you know, Luridian is his last name.
And Jake, I appreciate that someone would have let us know that the CopyCon website was the only thing you had seen the entire time, but like that did not stop the momentary panic.
Yeah. Okay, so next question. This former I, it is I, right? Becoming a. Is it going to become a or eh? Eh.
I don't remember the difference between where we have a and eh.
It doesn't matter currently. It doesn't matter for this question.
I guess did we have I just didn't know why we had the was it closed syllables? Was it
it happens before L.
so just the L?
It does happen in at least one other context. I think it's uvulars.
Okay. Oh, because it drops it. That's right. That's right. Okay. I don't know. Why not have this change happen before that, so then it can be both A and F, depending on where it is. Or do you not like that? Do you want it to just be A? I don't know.
I mean, you absolutely could do that. I actually imagined it as a later sound change.
I don't know. Miles is excited about a perfect opportunity for short distance ATR harmony.
I know it wouldn't do anything for the preposition. Unless
Well, if this is a late one, then I don't know. Just go A. That's where I feel. I.
What's it sounding like to you?
Well, it sounds like A to me.
So it sounds like the plus ATR version.
Yeah.
Higher version.
And David has to verify because he can never really understand what I'm saying.
No, I was.
Come on, it's the truth though. The number of times we've been conlanging and you'll be like, wait, what form did you just suggest? And it takes a lot of back and forth. Another one, Jonathan, is me worrying about where my glasses are when I am obviously wearing them. Otherwise, I would not be able to see very well. And yet, I'll be like, oh yeah, where did I put my glasses down? On my nose.
Yeah, the distribution of is a lot more restricted.
And so if you want to use that as an argument to...
But... This is interesting, though. It is interesting, though. Yeah, Oh yeah, no, of course tap it. Yeah, that's why it was going to be a late sound change. No, I think you're right. I think it's got to be A. All right, let's throw it in. Let's throw it late.
That's a good one too, Magpie.
Yeah, it should be after uvular coloring, after velarization. It should be dognification, either part the third or part the fourth.
Well, I think. Wait, is that the last one? Is dognification the final one?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that one should be the fourth because the one that's currently the third because, and this is a very important because, it just feels like the fourth canon, and so and so I think that one, the is the fourth canon, the fourth dognification.
You got it.
Of which you don't speak; it just happens.
Okay, AI becomes A, and then but before consonants.
As David is typing this out, Miles, I'm glad you're just bragging that pants made for bodies that are not, say, more woman sizes have pockets. Because pants specifically made for people buying women's clothing do not have pockets, or they have pockets that are like ridiculously small and fit nothing. Not even a whole key ring of keys. Even if the ring only has like 3 keys on it, like not even like a key ring, just like a tiny one, doesn't even hold it. So frustrating. I actually have jeans where the back pocket isn't even big enough for the phone. Like, what else is a back pocket for? Ugh, hate it. Hate it.
This includes the initial consonant of a following.
Or Ragdoll, you're right, the mock pockets. The mockets. Oh my gosh, that makes me so angry when I think I have pockets and then suddenly I'm like, oh my god, there's not even, like it's all sewn shut and there's not even like a pocket inside, so you can't even cut the threads open. Oh, yes, Ragdoll. Yes.
All right, there we go. And now this is a part of the language, so.
And I will say we have passed the whole pocket thing on to the next generation of clothes wearers. Because the number of time Meridian like gets a dress or something and she'll come out and the number one thing she'll say about it is, it has pockets. And I'm like, yes, we're passing it on. We're going to make sure that all future clothes wearers, regardless of what kind of clothes you prefer to wear and or buy, they should have pockets. Whether you want to wear a skirt or slacks.
All right, jump to the participle section.
I'm off my pocket soapbox.
And there we are.
Woo! Oh, that's lovely.
Bramimea, the sleeping dog. I love it.
Okay, now to verify up here, it stays because that's actually doing something to the next consonant.
Doing something.
Therefore, it is no longer A.
Oh, actually, you know what? No, actually, this is an open question. Open question. Okay, everybody. We have the potential for more mischief. Let's look at these two because this is a really good example. Brahmapap, excuse me. The is causing intervocalic changes, but not palatalization. Brahmajua. Brahmajua. It's doing both intervocalic and palatal mutation, and so the E is technically absorbed.
I think this needs to be A then.
Because
there's a reason for it. The E part is jumping over here, essentially, leaving the A by itself, and therefore it is A. Here, honestly, the intervocalic thing was accidental and we were like, well, I guess this is going to happen everywhere.
Right.
And there's no reason for the e portion of ai to go anywhere, and so it's still going to be on the ai, and so it's going to become a.
Oh, 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 oh.
Perfect.
Oh, wow. All right. So now we need to go up and make sure that all of our examples are still correct.
And Graham, much love to you. Thank you in advance.
Yeah. Avram, Olo Evram, Doho Echwau, Ayoho Ajem, Evram.
David is up here, so there we go. This is what David was reading from.
Yeah. So those are all correct.
And just to remind everyone, this segment in like alo, ai, ojo, that segment there is actually pronounced as like ayo. And so it's like that, even though it's written as a little I, it's actually more pronounced like a ya. So ayojo.
Yeah, Graham was saying they want a ya in there, but we're not going to do a ya. Also, this had to be bigger, but now it's messed everything up.
We'll survive.
Says you.
Oh. We're going to have Kayalo now? Is that? No, because it's going to be Kayalo. Okay. No. So none of those need to change for.
No, they do.
Not under that column, though.
Yeah. But also, I increased the font size, and now it messed everything up because of this.
Why don't you decrease it?
I wanted it all to be 10 point.
Okay, so, but should this be Lachwe then? Lachwe Rum?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to change that.
You changed those.
Lachwe. This one is fine. This one needs to be Lachwe. That one is fine because it's causing the yo. Okay.
Yeah, that one doesn't. That one.
Him, hey. We're good.
Now this one also has to change.
Okay. We also, as we're kind of wrapping up this little segment, we've got this done. Oh, okay. I need to remember to revisit something that I've written recently. As we kind of wrap this up, forward thinking, where are some places you want to go next for, like, you know, a potential poll that they'll get to stare at for 2 weeks?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, the easiest thing to do is just to say we'll do the orthography poll next.
Oh, yeah, we haven't really thought about that. Huh?
Yeah, we can. So we can always do that. But otherwise, we should give it some thought.
I mean, we did say, you know, relative clauses are now, you know, going to need to carry some weight for when we need to be more specific. And so we could start thinking-ish about relative clauses, but we also really have nothing written up about adjectives.
Miles is suggesting valency as well. That is something that we could talk about.
Oh, yeah. And we also haven't really talked about verbs outside of negation. And so, I mean, we already know we're not going to be marking a lot of information on verbs, but to have strategies for, perhaps like temporal adverbs or something to help locate or put timestamps essentially on information when you need to. That we could think about those kinds of constructional strategies.
So
Oh wow, Magpie, that's exciting. So yes, the orthography polls are definitely something we can go to, and we also don't have coordination, so we have all sorts of places we can move right now.
yeah, there was adjectives is kind of an interesting one because it's like, do we make them verbal so that they can actually stand in as their own predicates? Or do we make them nominal? And essentially then they can be, like all adjectives would be able to be like also the strong one and so on.
Can you, my brain fuzzed out because I was reading comments instead of listening to the very beginning of when you introduced. What strategy were you thinking about? I know it's either going to be potentially verbal or nominal, but I don't know what strategy we're talking
about. Adjectives.
So, okay. That makes a lot of sense then for those options.
Yeah, that's like it's a very short poll in that it's only going to have really two options, but we could spell them out and say, all right, our adjectives really going to be predicates, and are we going to go all in on that? We have to figure out our relative clause strategy next.
I think what we could do, because we're going to have a bit of a gap, we could have the adjective poll and another poll running at the same time potentially, and just be like, you're getting 2 in 1 for this segment.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, at some point also in the nearish future, we can get our name polls going, which is not an actual poll, but a longer running poll.
Oh yeah.
And so like that's always something that we can get going.
We'd actually do that and have that be the second poll rather than coming up with a full like other contentful poll. I don't know.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that I think would be good to kind of have two different things going on since we'll be around. We'll be gone for a week.
Yeah. It'll actually be an interesting question how to make those happen, because I think either we are going to do Dave and Jess or figure out compounds.
Either that or we would have to do one of the things where we would end up getting the copy val afterwards, but I don't remember the situations where we get those.
Neither of them would make sense for that.
Okay.
Because the copy val, the only one that we end up getting is O or U.
Yeah, no, that doesn't help us much.
Nah.
So I guess it'll be Dave and Jess.
Yeah. Here, actually, you want to hop over to Lexergy and let's look at what potentially we can have for that. So, protoform, we could have DE, and then the voiced bilabial fricative. It'd be nice if we could just type B. So we could have that. We could have DAI in that. I don't think there'd be any difference in the outcome.
Oops.
And then, of course, we can have pharyngalized or not.
Yeah, so I'm going to just copy those over.
Yeah.
And then add this because I don't want to have to switch keyboards. Okay.
And let's run it. See what the results are. Oh, I'm sorry. That needs to be an E. The DAE. DAE.
So it's the same across the board because we're going to be reducing this.
Yeah, that's right. We haven't done that yet. I'm sorry.
And so no matter what, it's going to be Dave.
Yeah.
Or Dave.
Yeah.
Dave. I can't do it. I can't even pretend.
Dave.
Dave.
Okay, so let's just see what...
I know, Jake, I was thinking the same thing because I know David and I were absolutely against everything that was voted on in the Sarkozy poll, and by the time it actually got made, it was like, oh, this looks cool. So thank you, patrons, for proving us wrong.
It's because I fixed it.
And thank you, David, for fixing what was wrong.
Yeah.
And so David's going to be asking you here momentarily whether that D should be pharyngealized for what will become his name.
Well, basically, just decide on what the protoform is going to be, since the end result is always is going to be the same. Just what do you like for the protoform?
And while he's doing that, the only way to get this is to have.
Oh no, you can get it with a diphthong. So like a schwa. You can get it.
But it's not going to be as an onset.
How do we? Let me see.
Or the palatal stop. Anime Fan wants some pronunciations.
The S. I don't know how to get that S.
I don't remember how we get these. Anime Fan, the important thing is they all end up being the same. It's going to be modern form, Dave, or Dave with that pharyngealization. So modern forms will be the same.
Dave or Dave? Yes, Dave.
I feel I know what I'm doing wrong now. Every time you do the pharyngealization, you have an eyebrow thing, and I can't do that, and that's what's happening. That's why I can't do it. And so so I have no idea what we're gonna do with my name.
What is wrong with this?
I also don't remember.
We're gonna have a hard time with your name, Jess. Like, what is wrong with that? You can do that.
I don't know. Maybe the ea is not a diphthong.
That's not. No, we absolutely. Or wait, can you? Is that? Oh, did we disallow only?
Yeah, we disallowed a bunch of diphthongs.
Okay, so now the next question: how do we get S?
I really don't remember.
Here, I'm gonna.
This is one of the languages where it's like I just have to hit and miss. I just come up with protoforms, so
that's good enough. All right, I'm gonna end the poll.
Tethys is saying, well, we can get gich. S is only intervocalic, Jake is saying. And so I'm just gonna have to pick another fricative.
S is only intervocalic. How do we get that intervocalic S?
I don't know what I'm really looking for here. Diphthong polarization. Oh yeah, this is where we end up getting schwas.
Right, because you can't have schwa in the proto. It's only a K. Only in initial mutations. Okay, then I think that we know what we have to do.
I think I'm just going to be J.
No, it's no. Your name, you have to be a compound. That was like the perfect cartoon gulp.
Okay.
No, you've got to be a compound because we have to make you Jesse as close as we can. So how do we get? I think.
Well, if we get DEA as an onset, we should be able to get a J or a J. Simply become Jeff. Fun fact, if my sister had been a boy, she would have been named Jeff, but I was going to get the name Greg.
Oh.
And I'm so glad that I'm not a Greg, because I'm not a Greg. At all.
And if your sister were a boy and then you were you could have been Jeffy and Jesse.
I bet my name would not have been Jessie at that point. I wonder if her name would have been kept for, I don't know why the the other option changed in between. I guess 2 years apart, you change your name about what names you like. Or I bet my mom had a student named Jeff in the meantime, and she was like, no, not gonna have my child named that. I bet that's what happened. Or maybe my dad had a Jeff. Both my parents were teachers, and so as teachers know, that can really affect what name you want to name a pet, a kid, whatever you're giving a name to. It can really affect it.
So I can't get a ja followed by eh. I can only get it followed by schwa. Is that right, or can somebody else do it? Because like I don't think that's gonna work. Because that'll.
Oh, did you see Jake's suggestion?
Yeah, I did. So that is a potential idea. But like, can anybody get ja followed by eh? I don't think it's possible. Yeah, because Tethys points out, yeah, the egg gets eaten and it leaves the schwa, and so the closest I think we can get is just say.
Say that again.
Just say.
I love it. Okay.
You like it?
I forget what was the winner. You are you in proto form. I'm just gonna write that here.
Sure.
So that way we remember.
You can also delete that. The options 1, 2, 3, like that whole thing. You can delete the.
Including this.
Yes, including that.
We don't need to remind Graham.
No. It's in the sound changes.
Okay. And so what we're saying here is I'm most likely going to need
DEE as word number 1 plus TE either as a compound or as a suffix. I think Jake's idea.
Plus minus.
Oh. Why did you do that?
Because it's either going to be the suffix hyphen or it's going to be.
Why wouldn't you do that?
Because I like my slashes. Anyway.
Okay, but I think Jake's idea is really good. We can figure out how to make te an agentive marker in some fashion. Like we can figure out what it's going to mean. And then if the patrons know that ahead of time, you can just be like, this word is going to mean a something-er.
So we don't forget what those are for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I wonder, we can also...
And I know a lovely person named D, so I'm good with D being a protoform.
I wonder what happens in them.
Difte.
Yeah, they've te, but it doesn't. There's a voicing change there. We might have to
play around with that as a suffix.
Yeah, I don't know if we want an across the board sound change.
No, because really the only reason we would get this is in compounds or in something happening here.
Yeah.
This would actually end up being, I guess, better analyzed as a compound rather than a suffix anyway, given the structure that we're setting up for this language.
Maybe.
But regardless, the only reason you would get this, because we don't have 2-syllable roots, so you're not going to get consonant like that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be some sort of cluster. And so no, we don't need a sound change. We just need to decide in segments like this, what are we going to do? We may need Lexergy to program it as a sound change, but we would need to like have the hyphen in there or something to indicate these are 2 units coming together.
Yeah. We'll think on that. Okay. Cool.
And so that's good. Now, okay. So that means
adjectives.
We've got this poll will be going on, and then adjectives, which basically comes down to, do we want adjectives to be nominal in origin or verb?
Or verb in origin, yeah.
And that's going to affect the way we do some things. I like it.
All right.
So in our final minute, I want to do a couple announcements. As a reminder, everyone, we won't be here next Thursday because we will be out of the country celebrating for a whole week. Also, if you haven't already checked it out, make sure you check out the KopiCon website. If you're interested in coming, make sure you register. For a reminder, patrons, as long as you have a lifetime contribution of at least $35, I think was the limit, then you can register without paying. And for anyone who's not a patron, you can still register. You just have a registration fee. And so we are limited in the number of spots we can have for, essentially it's like the number of people who can attend is limited to the room size. And then those attendees have been split kind of in half because Georgetown will get to reserve spots for their students, and we have reserved spots for all of our people, which includes you. And so, yeah, make sure you check it out and get registration in, because it's going to be an incredibly exciting event.
Yes.
Not to build it up too much, but it's going to be incredibly exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jake. And so, yeah, so I think that wraps up what I wanted to announce. Was there anything last minute you wanted to say before we, and by we, I mean you, end the stream?
No, I don't think so. I can't remember anyway. I think it's fine.
We're good?
Yeah.
We're good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, in that case, yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks. And my birthday is next Wednesday, Tethys. And thank you, Ragdoll. We will look at those and send love to you and your cats and your family, because that's always a really, really hard situation. So, all right. So everyone stay grammar, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye, everybody.